This is sacred ground for American motocross. For nearly 4 decades, the sport's greatest riders have faced the unique challenge of racing on the Holbert's family farm. For today's young stars of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, a victory at High Point is of particular importance. A chance to join the heroes who have went before them on a track upon which the sport of motocross in the United States was founded. The 38th High Point National is about to get underway live on MAV TV.
Hills of southwestern Pennsylvania welcome you to round 5, the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, sanctioned by AMA Pro Racing, the UPMC Sports Medicine High Point National. Hello everyone, Jason Wygant, multi-time motocross and supercross champion Grant Langston here in the booth, and Georgia Lindsay, of course, will be joining us all day long trackside. Now High Point, a pretty unique racetrack, but the storyline continues from our opening 4 rounds of the championship. We'll tell you about that with our big picture storylines. First, Jeremy Martin, your defending 250 champ, had some bad luck about 3 weeks ago. Bike problems, crashes. He is now roared back with 2 straight overall wins and is back into the points lead. And a similar type of story for your defending 450 champion, Ken Roczen. A bad opening round with an injury. Got his first moto win of the season last week in Tennessee, so hoping to build on that and maybe win an overall. And he needs to get some wins because he's got to try to track down Ryan Dungey, who won last week in Tennessee for his 40th career victory. That makes him 3rd in the all-time list. We'll see Roczen and Dungey in about an hour, but right now it'll be the 250 class. Martin versus Musquin. Grant, that's been the battle all year. A couple other riders hoping to knock them off.
Well, they've won all the races. You can see by the points gap, but right behind them, a gaggle of young, fast, talented riders. They're closing that gap. This could get interesting.
And well, we're going to see. Cianciarulo, he thinks he might have a moto win in store today. This could be a track where a lot of riders have broken through, and it could be the one for him to do it today. Let's get a little more update on what it's like to race at High Point. We'll send it down to Georgia Lindsay at the GoPro starting gate.
Yes, well, I have a first and second in qualifying next to me here. Marvin Musquin. Now, first of all, first in qualifying, the track has had a lot of changes, a little bit more tight. How's your feelings towards the track now?
Oh, I have a great feeling. I mean, I love that track. We got some rain last night, and it made the track really technical, soft, and ratted, so I like that. There's a lot of jumps, and they changed the layout a lot this year, and it's really cool. I like it. There's a nice quad over there, that big jump, good for the fans. So, yeah, traction is great right there behind the gate on the track, so it should be a good racing.
Best of luck. Thank you, Marvin. The other side of me, we have Jeremy Martin as well. Now, 2 whole shots so far this season. Looking at the start here at the track, we just talked about the starts and you know, the changes of the track, but how important is the start going to be here at High Point?
I mean, the start's important. I think it's probably one of the most important things. It's the only place you can pass 42 guys, you know, so it's very important. And then if you can get out front and get a clear track, you can ride your lines and get away. So start's important.
Awesome. Well, looking good in qualifying. Thanks, Jeremy.
All right, will it be Martin versus Marvin, or will someone else get in the mix? We'll find out. 250 Moto 1 is coming your way. Just under 5 minutes from our first gate drop of the day here at this UPMC Sports Medicine High Point National. Jason Wygant, Grant Langston, and Georgia Lindsay here at High Point. Show you exactly how motocross works with our 4-1-1. 2 classes will race today. Each class will have 2 motos. So in each class, we'll total up the results from those 2 motos to determine the weekend's overall winner. And it's a 12-round championship. This is the 5th, so we're already near the halfway point. That time went fast. So that's the format. We're going to show you the racetrack here with Kawasaki Track Map. Grant?
Well, go up this hill at Mount Morris, make that sweeping left, come down. Hopefully you get that motorsport.com whole shot into this tight right-hander, hard braking zone. Over that infamous tunnel jump. Then you got to get through these rollers clean. Go to the Lucas Oil drop-off. Make a right. New this year, a hard left into a triple step-up where you got to give everything you got on a 250 to get over. Make a right. Down these hills, we're just starting to get these long ruts into them. Then this part of the track actually tightens up a little more than it shows on the track map. Go over the hip jump over there. you make a left. Now you start going in front of the tens of thousands of fans. And this right here is that big quad jump.
Yeah,
that
they'll
we've
go
seen
all
the
the way
guys
over to this.
there.
If they do it right. Wow.
Yeah, over the fly jump. Make a right, left, back up the hill. But this track is challenging with all the rain we've had. The ruts are getting deep. We've seen a lot of mistakes in practice. Now they go back up to another fast part of the track. Make this U-turn down the hill. There's a drop-off. Then get your weight back. Get on the gas. Get through these rollers up the hill into the sweeping left where you'll hit the finish line jump. Then you'll head down what they call Bradshaw Boulevard past the Fram Mechanics area. Another hard braking zone. Little step down the hill. Right-hander, hopefully tripling up this hill every lap. Sharp right, swing back onto the start straight. That's a lap of Mount Morris.
This track is actually laid out by a German motocross racing team back in the mid-1970s. So they always say it lends itself to the European riding style. Marvin Musquin proving that today. He is your Bud Light Fast Qualifier Award winner. He is a Frenchman, and it seems like these technical, rutted tracks seem to work for his style. Is he keeping him cool? I'm not sure what the mechanic Frankie was doing there. Here's your GoPro track preview. We mentioned how technical it is. We're on board with Jesse Nelson. Talk about what makes it technical.
Well, this is still early in the day, but already you see riders having problems. But the ruts are getting really deep. Not only are they deep, they've got these big, like, chuck holes in them. You see the guys getting really unsettled. This is all the new part of the track. You heard Marvin saying he liked the changes.
Yep.
Gets a little bit tight here. You see through these rollers and hard on the brakes, try and get to the inside. So it's a lot of gas brake in this section.
Right.
Now you come up that sweeping hill. So they've shaved this jump down so they can't, they don't double that anymore like they used in the past. Then this is probably the funnest jump on the track for these guys. Come around this left sweeper. Full throttle on a 250F, wide open.
Got it.
Barely getting over it. And then this section is also really fast with a sweeper down the hill.
And that corner, those ruts, totally different now. They're a foot peg deep from what we saw earlier in practice. Here's your KTM keys to the Moto, Grant. What do you need to do to succeed today?
Well, we talked about changing conditions. We've had some rain. It's drying out. The humidity is up. The ruts are getting deep. You've got to be smart with line choice. Smooth through the ruts. If you're too aggressive, it'll unsettle the suspension and you'll be bouncing all over this track and going nowhere in a hurry. And who can beat the duo? We're talking about Musquin and Martin. Who's going to be the next one to step up and wrestle a win away from these guys?
They have swept it so far. No one else has been able to beat them this year. But we're seeing some riders start to establish themselves. Nelson, Cincerillo, Aaron Plessinger led some laps last time. Zach Osborne a podium 2 weeks ago in Colorado. So a lot of riders on the outside looking in. They do not want to see two riders gobble up all the wins this year. And a pretty famous start set up here at High Point, an uphill, big sweeping left-hand turn. The Fly Racing 30-second card comes up. How many times have we seen a rider not in the front of the pack into the first turn, and then by the time the track gets into turn 2, he's up front. You can make some moves early.
Well, it's a long sweeping left, and a lot of the guys will push out wide. So if you can keep it tight and get the power on the ground, you'll gain a lot of spots right there.
All right, so the mechanics have now backed away, and it's time to go racing. Martin is the points leader, but it's only a 6-point gap over Musquin. So this point seed could flip again by the end of today's race. And not a good start for Martin. He was back as soon as they came over the gate, but a good one for Musquin. He's out front on the 25. Will he get the official motorsport.com hole shot? He will. Matt Bisceglia right behind him, and RJ Hampshire as well. So a pair of Geico Hondas, 3 Geico Hondas. Wow, they're off to the races. The Honda boys are trying to gang up here on Musquin. Bisceglia, Hampshire, Christian Craig, and Cincerillo on the green number 50 in there as well.
Well, you saw that riders fanning out 3 wide through those rollers, but Marvin able to hold on to it. But the Geico Honda boys, they came to play today. 2nd, 3rd, 4th.
Jeez. Hampshire on the 80 goes around his teammate Bisceglia. Bisceglia dealing with heat from Craig. And Cincerillo gets them both down to the inside. Just able to hold on to it. So the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki rider up to 3rd.
What a move by Cincerillo. Just saw an opening up the inside. The inside actually looked like the smoothest line. He left the braking till the last minute, made 2 passes and 1.
Hampshire, a rookie, really coming on strong as of late. Got 5th in our 2nd moto last week. That's a career high. Building on it now in 2nd. And we mentioned Jeremy Martin, our points leader, not a good start. They had the elbows in front of him about 10 feet out of the gate, so he's got work to do.
And And the last thing he wanted to see was the number 25 out in front, because he knows he's got to make some passes and make them fast, because with the pace Musquin showed in qualifying practice, it could all be over before it begins for him. Wow, another mistake for Hampshire.
Cianciarulo's going to be on the inside at the very top of this hill, scrubbing these jumps together.
And he got it.
I think a little mistake, feet off the pegs for Cianciarulo, and that's going to allow Hampshire to get him back. And Christian Craig making moves, as is Zach Osborne, 4th and 5th. Hampshire, good job fending off some serious heat from Cianciarulo, and Craig is trying to follow. Man, lines all over this track.
Yep. Don't want to hear from anyone you can't pass on this track. The way the track's unfolded, there are multiple line options everywhere. Look at Cianciarulo.
That was practically off the track. Cianciarulo clipping it like a slalom race around the ski course.
I think clipping it keeps you legal.
I'd say so. Like I said, like skiing. Outside, inside, and that's the trademark of this track. These off-camber corners, the track is falling away from you. You don't get much of that in this championship. Except here, almost all the corners seem to be unlevel.
Yeah, and this is coming to that new section, so for these guys, basically no one's really had much practice with this setup, but you can tell how much throttle they have to give. You see the casing, Cianciarulo comes up short in that triple step up. That's because these 250 guys are coming out of that tight turn and giving it all they got to just barely get to the top of that hill.
Hampshire wisely going down to the inside, that right-hander before those jumps. That's where Cianciarulo made passes the last time, so he adapted to that.
How about Christian Craig? I'm very impressed with this guy. He really surprised me at Colorado, basically coming off the couch. We always talk about there's one thing practicing, but when you get out in the race, it's a whole different kettle of fish. And he has really just fit in right like he never even left.
He's right in the hunt again here. Let's send it to Georgia with more on Craig.
Yeah, speaking to Christian earlier, obviously last weekend he had troubles with his chain, actually, where it kind of derailed. Something happened with that, so he exited the race for that reason. However, he's getting back into race shape now. It's taken a few weeks, obviously, to get back into it because he kind of got thrown into the season. But he said, I'm feeling a lot better now, but obviously with the heat, that's going to be a problem. So let's see if he can withstand the 30-minute moto with the heat. Yeah,
Craig is the replacement rider for the injured Justin Bogle. He was planning on showing up second half of the year in July at Redbud. He was going to start racing on a 450. When Bogle got hurt, they said, can you move up and come back 5 weeks early? Oh, there is Martin, your defending champ on the number 1, is way back, but also Bisceglia here in the 38. Remember, he was second and battling Musquin for the lead out of turn 1. He has dropped back. Martin is moving forward. Let's see if he can make the move. This is for 8th and 9th. Bisceglia trying to hold him off.
And right behind them, Jesse Nelson. So also not a fantastic start for him, but we say a bad start for Martin. He's still in the top 10. Bad start would be laying on the ground in the first turn.
He's been there
as well, So all that's going to happen for him right now, he's got to be smart, do not panic, and find different lines like that. See, doubling of the tunnel jump, goes to the outside, squares it up, slightly different rhythm, but you're not going to pass by following. Cianciarulo trying to use a lot of these outsides as well as not follow the rider in front of him. But good job to RJ Hampshire. He is hanging on tough. And Marvin Musquin, it's not like he's walking away from these guys either.
That's right. He's still there. Watch, he's just in the corner ahead of them. So Hampshire running the pace. Told me he's a lot more comfortable now the races are back on the East Coast. He's a Florida native. He's glad to have spent a lot of time in California working on the motorcycle with the team, but he said now he has the bike where he wants it. He's back in Florida. He's doing nothing but training. No more testing of the motorcycle. And just, actually, a lot of these guys will point out that the flights are shorter, and they're a little bit fresher. Same time zone.
Which is a big difference.
So they come into the races, he's just feeling a lot more fresh, and it is showing as the number 80 in his first pro season, running second. Cianciarulo behind him, then it's Craig Osborne 5th, Alex Martin 6th, Savachi 7th. Then you have that Bisceglia and Jeremy Martin battle 8th and 9th, and Nelson we saw right behind them in 10th.
Notice how RJ has those hand guards on. This track does have some mean rocks, and in these high-speed sections, you get a rock on the knuckle. We've seen guys in the past literally break fingers and knuckles. So some of the guys are electing to go with hand guards. Also, if they thought it might be raining, it also helps keep mud off the grips. So once you get mud between your grip and your glove, it is a nightmare.
Oh, a little mistake on the entrance of the corner. I thought that was for Hampshire.
Cianciarulo made a little mistake right on the outside.
So no change in the second and third, but I think Cianciarulo told me this morning he thinks he has a shot at winning a moto, and I think you're seeing that extra aggression. He wants to keep Muscan in sight. First, he would have to get Hampshire. Not easy to do. But he is really going for it here, trying those different lines, like you said.
I think at this point they're trying to figure out what's the quickest way. If the guy in front of me goes to the inside and rolls the tunnel jump, I'm going to double it, go to the outside. You've got to try that. If you're losing it, Cincerello slowed down for a tear off there. I don't know if he had some vision issues, but he actually almost slowed down and really pulled that tear off. Sometimes they get stuck on the actual clip.
And behind them, it looks like Osborne trying to make a move on Craig. Oh, that inside line that Cincerello is using is so rough. And then you'll see right behind them at times the red fender and the white. There's Craig, there's Osborne, and Osborne has brought Alex Martin and Joey Savaggi with him, so they're trying to get around Craig. Now Craig had that great ride in Colorado, struggled big time last week. He had the chain problem that Georgia said. He told me he was sick coming into that race, didn't have the energy that he was hoping to have. He says this week he feels a lot better, and he told me I need to ride a lot better than he did last week. So we'll see if he can hang in there. I don't think the speed is in question for Craig at this point. He already showed in Colorado he has it. It's all about the endurance right now.
Well, especially if you come off being sick, I guess for him, like you said, I need to ride more. The worst thing that can happen is you get sick and then you don't ride.
Yeah.
While other guys are getting a little fitter and a little stronger each day, each week.
And remember, he was behind already.
Exactly,
late. Yeah.
Exactly. And, you know, you got to admire his honesty saying, hey, this heat will affect me. I'm going to, basically his game plan is going to be go as fast as you can, as long as you can. And hopefully with a little bit of this cloud cover, it's not too bad. It is humid out there, but the actual heat index is not quite as bad as we've seen at some events, especially in the past.
Oh,
on the outside.
That's going to be the inside here, which does not work.
Osborne takes the line away. Smart move, blocks the line. Martin unable to triple, but sometimes even not tripling, you don't lose much ground because you're able to hug the inside afterwards. In fact, you'll see sometimes later in the day, when those ruts get deep on the outside, the guys will actually scrub and go double single to go to the inside, just because that almost becomes even quicker.
Alex Martin really needed a bounce back today. He's had 4 straight hard block motos. He's been fast all year long. As we go back to Osborne now, he's going to try to get around Craig. He was under attack from Martin. Doesn't want that. He's going to use Craig for cover. Does he beat him to the inside? Oh,
their lines were coming together. Those ruts are almost touching each other. And you saw how Craig had to hop out of his rut to avoid contact. Smart move. You know, he had no choice. He was on the outside, hopped out of the rut, surrendered that position. Like I said, didn't have much choice.
Okay, so now Osborne to 4th. That'll push Craig to 5th. Alex Martin and Savaggi right there. Great 4-rider battle. Muscan is pulling away just a little bit. Cincerello has cleared Hampshire. He's in a 2nd. We'll see if he can keep the Frenchman honest.